Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
We have cameras in the castle. For those morons that meatheads haven't noticed, the next person that leaves the fucking front door open is going home. Is everybody's English good enough to understand what I just said? So if it's this little skinny shit, I'm sure we got a couple of tubs of shit here. They're going home. That's the real world, not the world you just came from. What did we got? Text reader in the back? You're not wearing that at dinner, cowboy. And since I'm on that roll, there's no follow-up program here. There's no mentor program. There's shit, nothing. Yet, not everybody in the room, but almost everybody in the room will call in a panic. Somewhere between the 2nd and 5th week, and then about the 10th or 15th week, and then when you get down to trying to do a deal. I say trying to do a deal because the first deal you try aren't going to be successful. And some of you will, well, there's only one girl, no offense, ma'am, but some of you will cry, and you'll call Winnica, or you'll call Thelma, or you'll call Kim, all of which won't get you to me. But occasionally, if you do ring a cry cord in one of the girls, they'll bring me your file. And I'll open it up and I'll look at it. And I'll look at the camera feed. And I'll decide whether I'm going to take the call. So the day you call is not the day I will talk to you. And most of you won't make the mark. Because you're going to have homework tonight, most of which will, do they still say shine it on? Shine it on? You won't take it seriously. And I'll look at your homework, whether you took it serious or not, and I'll add that to the equation, whether you left the fucking door open, and whether I have any bad reports on you individually from the staff. Some of you come from rude countries that treat servants like dog shit. If you treat the staff that way, first of all, you probably won't make it through the week. The last person we had to leave was last year, or is it the beginning of when did the Indian doctor leave, the lady? Was it last year or the year before? Okay, she sat right there. And at the end of tonight, because you're going to see me again after dinner, etc., she said, well-educated, nice lady. And she asked if this is the way the seminar was going to go. And I knew what she was meant. I said, what do you mean, ma'am? Or, excuse me, doctor? And she smiled. She says, well, is this the way you're going to treat people all the week? I didn't even say anything. I only said fuck 2 or 3 times by that time. I said, I'm afraid so. She said, well, I don't believe I can deal with that. Well, there's no refunds, so don't let the door hit you in your flabby ass on the way out. She wasn't there the next morning. I don't try to make it. I make it as clear cut and definitive that how the most successful people have used this program. And I make no exceptions. We've got one old git in the audience, not old compared to me, and we've got 1 or 2 kids. We seem to have a run on Serbians here for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's good or bad yet. I'll tell you in a couple of days. But we got, unfortunately, a few Spanish-speaking people, which I know will be a pain in the ass, hemorrhoids that I don't need. And then we've got everybody else. And we only have one gal this time. And but my language isn't going to be any better or any worse just because we have a female in the audience. And I haven't looked close enough if we got any its. First glance, we don't. But the seminar, as I corrected a couple of you that came in to see me on one-on-one private time, that we're not 2,000 cold calls away. We're now 1,406 cold calls away. Those are the new numbers, post-corona. 1,400, call it 1,400 before you do a deal. And that's getting through to a seller, a prospect, not a suspect. 1,400. And the soonest we've had that done, which you've probably seen on the YouTube, is 26 days. And the soonest for a second deal is 9 days, beyond the 26 days. Two different people. The 9 was from not 70, 67, 68-year-old guy, old git. And he's, last time I checked, which was probably a year ago, he had done 39 deals in 30 months since he left. His wife told him not to come. His children told him not to come. His grandchildren told him not to come. His lawyers of 40 years told him not to come. His doctor, everybody on the fucking planet told him not to come. And he's the guy on my YouTube feed sitting in his G5 with his bald-headed son and his bald-headed son's fiance across from him, sitting there having lunch. It's probably been on YouTube 500 times. And he's having the time of his life. He's from Nottingham. So I call him the sheriff from Nottingham, and the non-existent sheriff from Robin Hood. We're going to cover a bunch of stuff. So far, the kids I've seen so far, the 5 or 6 of you that I met with this afternoon, and I told them, as I can tell you with my hand or where my heart's supposed to be, that all the questions that you asked, with one or two exceptions, are answered during the seminar. Every night, we'll meet here like this before dinner, and then Duncan, who's been around since the last King Charles, will ring the gong and say dinner served. And then you'll all line up over there because he'll show you where to sit. And you're sitting in that room. We eat a couple times in that room, and then we eat a couple times in the bar in the pavilion. And then after dinner, we'll come back here and meet again. And you'll have a glass of wine or whatever with you, and I'll talk for a while. And to the lead up of the homework that you're going to have tonight and every night except graduation night, when you'll see movies of various people, and then it is your job to write down, not hand script, but computer or iPad, whatever you use, the takeaways, and you'll be given questions, right, EJ? You'll be given questions to answer. And some nights you'll see 2 or 3 short ones, and some nights you only see 1 long one. Tonight, one of the ones, unless we've changed the schedule, is Baron Trump, the life and legend, 8 minutes long, because that's how you were not raised. Although my children, unfortunately, were raised very similar to Baron Trump, and that's why they're spoiled fucking brats. Less spoiled than Baron. One of the things I think I told one of you, just before the former president got shot, he had invited me to dinner, Baron. Apparently, I'm one of the guys he follows. And his father getting shot and canceled all that. So I never had dinner with him. Although I was looking forward to see what the little shit says. And if you hear that, Baron, to me, you're still a little shit. Although he's a big, tall shit. And so you'll have homework. So then tomorrow, by 9 a.m., your homework is due to Kim. And I'd be willing to bet all my net worth here that at least one of you won't make the timeline. All. Against the pound. See that pound over there? That's the picture with the red trimming? Just to the left of it, there is a small silver encased letter with a pound in it. I made the same bet with a guy who wore a hat just like you. But that was only 1,000,000 pounds to 1 pound. you see his pound hanging up there. Because there's just certain things I know you can't do. I will say at least 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 times if you follow the steps. And one of you intellectually will think, well, fuck, has the guy got dementia? What the fuck's wrong with the old man? Because I know I would bet my life that most of you aren't going to follow the steps. My life. Even though if I said it 5,000 times, doesn't matter. Just as I was telling 1 or 2 of you, for 11 years I said it's the lowest interest rates in 5,000 years. Right? Supposedly I have 1 million followers. Supposedly. You know how many followed it? 8 out of 1 million. So when I say you're not going to follow the steps, I know you're not going to follow the steps. My favorite story, and I already shared it with a couple of you earlier, we had a nymphomaniac here a few years ago. She looked like a Bible teacher, kindergarten teacher. She looked as clean as whatever clean. But after the fact, I find out she fucked, if not everybody in the class, except me, and a good half of the employees. She said, I just can't help myself, Mr. Peña. You can't help yourself going into default, which is stepping on your dick. You have a history of it, stepping on your dick. Your parents have a history of it, stepping on their dicks. Your grandparents, if you remember in the documentation I asked you to fill out, what's the most high-performance thing you've ever done? Nothing. What's the most high-performance, or some of you say, come in here. What's the most high-performance thing your parents ever did? Nothing. What's the most high-performance parents your grandparents ever did? Nothing. Well, even in new math, nothing is equal to nothing. So the probabilities for you doing something are pretty fucking low. Then we can throw in ethnicities into it. And certain ethnicities in this room, not just this room, that have been through this room, have a lesser probability. And in some cases, it's close to zero possibility. We're not dealing in probabilities anymore. And of course, some of you, if not on a conscious basis, on a subconscious, or as a psychiatrist, a sub rosa basis, you've used that as an excuse. So the homework, if it's not in by 9, somebody will come around 10, 11 o'clock and tell you the homework's not in. Of course, you know it's not in because you didn't put it in. And so then you've got till noon to make it good, kind of a default loan. But I base, then at lunchtime tomorrow, I don't eat lunch with you, and I only have dinner with you because Sally makes me. And I don't have breakfast with you. So at lunchtime tomorrow, when you're having lunch, I will be going through your homework. Other people and I will be going through your homework. And so then after lunch, I'll come back here at about 2 o'clock, thereabouts, more or less, and I'll tell, okay, Jose, okay, Joe, okay, Sammy, did you understand my instructions last night? Yeah. Well, your homework's no fucking good. You got to do it again. Then you've got till 5 that day, tomorrow, to redo it or leave or be escorted out. I want you to err on the long side, not the short side. More words are better than less words. Does everybody understand that? Everybody English good enough? First of all, who is not English in their primary language? That's too bad. I won't say you wasted your money, but you're closer to wasting your money than the guys that can speak English. Now, you all know 98% everything we're going to cover this week is on my website free. I've said that a million times at least. And we have people that have created gobs of money without ever coming here. And the irony is, after they create gobs of money, and Gabriel, who from about a year and a half ago, from Switzerland, made gobs of money, and then he came to the seminar, and then he came to the hardcore right after the seminar, even though he had made already gobs of money, because he thought that he still must have missed something. He thought he could have made multiple gobs of money if he had come to the seminar, since he made gobs of money without the seminar. And he was right. Because now he's made multiple gobs of money, and he runs around in his little jet plane. And he's also gained 2 stones. 2 stones is about 30 pounds, right? He's gained 30 pounds. So homework is an important part, especially if you have any design to contact me again. Although contacting me again isn't really an option. But if you can get under the skin of the girls, let me put your request forward. May. And all the girls are mothers. So that's a hint. There is a soft underbelly. Some of their underbellies are pretty fucking big now as they've gotten older. Any questions? EJ, have you told them how to use the mic? Yes, sir. Now, this is the 3rd iteration of our mics. Each iteration is significantly more expensive than the last. Because so far, heretofore, maybe the seminar will be different, and maybe in hope or not strategies, you'll be able to use it. Because if you can't use the mics effectively, we can't tape you, and if we can't tape you, then there's no need for us you to have ask questions. Are we ready, Duncan? If there are no questions, hit it, Duncan.